Hey everybody, Ryan here at etrailer. Today on our 2022 Toyota 4Runner, we're going to be checking out the Kuat NV 2.0 platform style bike rack. So first impressions of the rack on the back of the Toyota, I think it looks awesome. Honestly, the 4Runner is a really nice SUV. This is a really nice bike rack. You know, these things, these Kuats are top notch, and so just kind of fits, you know, and makes sense on the back of it. One of the really neat things that kind of separates this rack from a lot of the others is you're going to be able to get into the back of your Toyota even when you have your bikes loaded up. So let's say you get all loaded up and then you forget about something and have to get in there. Not really a huge deal. All you're going to have to do is grab this lever, pull that down, and this is going to fold down. And like I said, not a lot of racks don't do this, so that's pretty convenient. But like this, it's going to give you that space you need to open up your hatch and get anything you might need in and out of the back. Something that I can appreciate, and I'm sure a lot of other people can too, is this is a kind of a customizable bike rack in a sense. There's a lot of different varieties and options and things you can do with it. So for example, today we have the 2-bike version. If you need to carry more, there's a 4-bike version. So you really have a lot of choices to pick from in terms of what you think looks the coolest or whatever matches your Toyota the best, whatever the case may be. And let's just say too, maybe you know for a fact you need a 2-bike version to begin with, but maybe you want to grow into a larger bike rack in the future. There's actually add-ons. So you can put an add-on here and make it a 3 or 4-bike and not have to commit to that 4-bike rack right off the bat. So pretty cool. A lot of other bike racks don't do that. But with that said though, why don't we kind of just check this out a little bit better. The way it's going to hold your bike down is very simple and very effective. So you're going to have a wheel hook up here. It puts downward pressure onto that front wheel. So no frame contact. It's going to work for all different type of bikes, even if you have a carbon bike. And as far as the back goes, we're going to have a strap. And that's really all there is to it. But it's super effective that the bike isn't going to bounce around or anything like that whenever you're going down the road. Why don't we go ahead and just take this off though and have a better look here. So you always want to start with the back. So we'll release that strap, get it out of the way. This thing is adjustable too. So, you know, it can fit a lot of different wheelbases. Then you come up here to the hook. When you're doing this, you want to make sure you got a hold of the bike, right? Because once we undo this pressure, there's not going to be anything holding it. You don't want it to tip over and hit your car or anything like that. So just kind of a pointer there. Push this button in, lift it up, swing it out of the way. We can pop our bike off. So whenever we don't have our bike on here and we're not using the rack, I do suggest, you know, just closing this back up, keeping it clean. And something that we need to think about whenever we have the rack on the back of our 4Runner, it is going to extend the overall length of it. And to find out exactly how much, we'll just go from the hatch here to the very edge. Looks like it's going to be right at about 38 inches. So, you know, something to think about if you have a smaller garage or pull into a tight spot, something along those lines. The good news is though, it does fold up and makes it a lot more compact. So we'll grab our lever, swing this up, and definitely frees up some space, no doubt about it. Probably the furthest point will be this knob here, and I'll just measure from our bumper to it. And with it like that, it's only going to add about 17.5 inches. So in this position, really shouldn't run into any issues, even if you do have a smaller garage or park in a tighter spot. Something that is pretty cool, this essentially kind of has a built-in workstation for you, which is what this arm is for right here. So what you can do is flip open that lever, and this pulls up quite a ways actually, and you can lock it in. And this deal here, you unscrew that knob, opens up, you put your bike in there and cinch it down. And it's just nice to kind of get your bike off the ground if you have to tighten your chain or make any adjustments, make a repair. At least it gives you a spot to work and makes it a little more easy on you. Moving on down here, so this rack is going to work with those 2-inch by 2-inch trailer hitch receivers like we have here today on our 4Runner. And if I had to take a wild guess, it's probably the only size hitch available for the 4Runner. If I just had to kind of think out loud. But with that said, it is going to come with a locking hitch pin, which is pretty cool to keep it secured to the back of your Toyota. And then if we follow this all the way out here, there's going to be a knob on the very end of it. And when you tighten this down, what's going to happen is it's going to eliminate any slop or play there in our connection point where we actually plug the hitch or plug the rack into the hitch. And what that's going to do is eliminate any of that noise, that clunking around that you're going to hear. So kind of give you an example of that. Let's say if we're going down the road, hitting some bumps, you can see that the rack is going to move with our SUV and not on its own. Other than that, you know, if you're looking for a bike rack that's going to last just as long as your Toyota, you really can't go wrong with the Kuat like this one here. Not only is it going to look awesome, but it's going to be really easy to use and live with. Now, if you're anything like me, you always want to see the product you're interested in actually working or in action. So why don't we go ahead, load up some bikes, take this out on the test course and see how it does. This is our test course. Let's start with the slalom. This shows side-to-side action, such as turning corners or evasive maneuvering. Then, onto our alternating speed bumps. This shows twisting action, such as hitting curbs, potholes, road debris, or even uneven pavement. Last of all, the solid speed bumps. This shows up and down action, such as driving through a parking lot or parking garage, or driving in and out of a driveway. And that'll finish up our look at of the Kuat NV 2.0 platform style bike rack on our 2022 Toyota 4Runner.